You know, it goes down in the truth lounge, so you got to be ready. The truth can hurt, but it also can set you free.
Truth lounge.
The truth, yeah, truth lounge. All right, guys. So welcome back to the Truth Lounge. You got your girl Mira's Beauty here, my fellas.
Got your boy T.Y.
And again, Pierre.
Yep, and thank you for tuning in. So today we are here to talk about a very, very interesting topic, something that we all can relate, connect to, something that we all have experiences with. It's this word called relationships, okay? And so as we all already know, there are different types of relationships. You know, you got family relationships, you got intimate relationships, you got friendships, so on and so forth. So we're gonna dive in. We got work relationships too.
Oh yeah.
So it's a whole bunch of different types
like
of relationships.
my work wife, my work husband. You better leave that shit alone.
It's a little dangerous. That's a dangerous game. That's a dangerous game. That's a dangerous game. So we'll go ahead and get started with the most, of course, sought after type of relationship, the intimate one. So I am single. So what about you guys? What's your relationship status?
Yeah, I'm single at this moment. So yeah.
I don't know what I am.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
That's that situational shit we gonna talk about later.
Trying
We've
to
all
figure it
been
out.
in it.
He needs
Trying
love.
to figure it out. Right. That's the worst space to be in. Like trying to figure it out. It's like how either we do or we don't. Like we will or we won't. But we all know that like just being in relationships require a different like type of effort, level of patience, one that I personally ain't got time for right now. But you know, we're gonna let the Lord lead on that. And so we've all been in different types of relationships regardless of our current status. And so as I know, like we've all had those staple relationships. And so I know for me, I've had two staple relationships, my first and then my
So how long did that first relationship last?
I don't want to talk about that. No, just what. So that first relationship was a middle school relationship.
Okay.
It was something where it ended up filtering into high school, but that's where I first had my experiences with situationships. And so it's like we were in a relationship, got cheated on, because we can talk about that later, which I don't want to make that too much of a hot topic.
Definitely.
These niggas are cheating. But we won't have to talk about that just yet. But it was something where it ended up, filtering into high school, but it was a situationship at that point. But all experiences are important, so it was one that was important. Taught me like that friendships have to be at the core of all relationships.
Most definitely.
And so before you can even get to that intimate level, you have to have that basic connection.
Well, like I tell most people, most relationships to me, when I look at them, I usually say they either out of necessity, convenience, or really just out of true love. Because most relationships, when I say necessity, is that somebody's providing for you, somebody got something for you, it can be the money, the look, or whatever. And then when I say just out of, when I say love, because you know how you got that one friend, they be like, girl, why you still with him? And she, I love him. You be like, well, he doing this, he doing that. But she like, I'm holding on. And then, the other one is just basically out of, like, convenience, somebody you was around just all the time, or somebody at work, or just, it was more convenient for you to get, like I say, that first relationship, like she mentioned, it usually be somebody that's in the neighborhood or school, which the first girl I ever really had a long-term relationship, she literally lived next door to me, so you can just imagine how convenient that was. So,
basketball.
you know what I mean? And even growing up, a lot of relationships is more just out of convenience and being around, because I never really mess with any girls that live too far in the neighborhoods. Like, hey man, you live what? We don't come over there, but yeah, it was more out of convenience. But then necessity, as it got older, you wanted somebody. When I say necessity, you want somebody to provide certain needs, somebody that's caring, loving, loyal. Not as a necessity like, oh, you gonna cook, you gonna go to the grocery store, all that, wash my clothes, fold my clothes, crap. But necessity as in nurturing, can I get this from you in the same, be reciprocal. So yeah, that's how I look at most relationships, either out of necessity, convenience, or just really that love,
I don't think I had no relationships in grammar school or high school.
Okay.
Pretty much my first relationship was in my 20s.
Player.
Not even a player, I just did other stuff when I was young. I wasn't caught up in the women. I got caught up in the women in my 20s.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. So I know you stay not young, so you didn't have like no teenage crush.
I had teenage crushes.
Okay.
But they didn't like me.
Oh.
It's like, it is what it is. I take what I can get, and I wasn't worried about it then. And I think by being like that, I grew to a point where a relationship at one point in time for me was, I didn't really care. If it happened, it happened. If it don't, it don't.
Okay.
Now I'm to the point as I'm older, I do want somebody to finish life with.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like that companionship. Like I look at relationships, not that you should view it as a business partnership, but the older I get, it's more of a business partnership, and you all are both making investments into the relationship.
Definitely.
And so what's the value of your investment? And I think that sometimes when relationships go wrong, it's because like one person have stopped making that investment.
Definitely.
And that investment can look a number of different ways. Like, of course, you know, relationships end because people cheat, but like we have to also talk about like the other stuff that happened. Like just you've been with someone so long and then you just grow as a person, or like financial stuff. Like these niggas do be cheating. But again, we're not gonna talk about that because I might get jumped here with the guys. I think that, you know, that might be, you know, up there on the list of reasons why relationships
I know she keeps saying cheating too, but most relationships, when you look at it statistically, they really are because of financial problems, you know, just going through life. Like I said, you get with somebody when you're in your 20s, y'all both trying to find y'all way. Kids come about when y'all get 30. Jobs, career, if that person making money, average job probably paying, you know, 35 to 50K unless you really making some real good money, and the other person, so you're bringing in about $100 to $150,000, then you include kids, if your kids going to private school, anything of that nature, so and then it weighs on if I'm not getting the time that I used to get to. And then another thing, relationships like man and woman, a lot of men, like I say, they're nurturing, so they get the nurturing from their woman. And then when the kids get involved too, a lot of men get a lot of discernment from their woman because they looking like, oh, you're not giving me that nurturing that but it's like now she got this kid, she can't mother you no more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. A lot of guys, they do look for that in a woman, that motherly love, because that's how most of the guys, they grew up with their mother.
That's what they learn love was.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like you said, that's what you learn what love is. So you kind of look for that in a woman, and it's like once those things start depleting, it goes away. Because a man may not say it, but if there's any men watching this, tell me you wasn't jealous of your child at one point in time.
She's looking on that titty.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that you may not show that, but there's some men out here that.
Oh no, I understand exactly
absolutely.
what you're saying.
Yeah, because I mean, all of the boom boom room time changes, like the security that the individual woman feels, because like with childbirth, and that's another type of relationships. When you look at like, you know, being a parent, it has a way on a woman. Like, and not to say that it doesn't affect the man as much, but it affects a woman. Like, you're literally sacrificing so much, and that boom boom room time, women go through postpartum and don't even realize they're going through it. Like, they have security issues just within themselves. Like, it's a lot. And that's like another reason why I think kids are beautiful. But ooh, FTK, shout out to spring break.
I think with relationships, as far as relationships between a man and a woman, or women and woman, man and man, but I think with men and women more in particular, in these times, it's different because we as men, we're chasing after modern women. A modern woman is what the epitome of having a good woman is. Now, a woman that can go out and get some money, a woman that can take care of the home, a woman that can help raise the kids, a woman that's going to do a lot of things but still be able to help generate an income and create help the man create the security blanket for everybody. But a lot of men don't get into relationships understanding that. Right. They look for a woman that's going to take care of the kid, do all of this and some.
Right.
And we forget sometimes that we have to assist in some of the things with modern women, supposed to how it was in the 50s, 60s, and the 70s, and parts of the 80s, where women would just stay at home. They weren't looking for jobs. They weren't chasing their dreams too. But I think the disconnect now is we all look for. We say we want something, but we don't know how to attain what we want. So we put out what we used to giving or we used to getting back. So we don't never give a person, I'm gonna love you the way I know how to love, and it might not be what you need from me, and vice versa. And that becomes a disconnect because I'm not feeling fulfilled. I'm not feeling poured back into, and you're not feeling poured back into.
Everybody got a different love language too, though.
But I don't think love languages have any effect on. I think everybody has the same love languages. You're a mixture of all the love languages. Right. At times you want to be, you want words of affirmation. At times you want to be touchy-feely. At times you want to give gifts, or you want gifts. So I think we all are a multitude of all the different love languages. Right. It's just you got to know how to meet that person's need at that moment, instead of meeting your need, what you think I should be giving you. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I think a lot of disconnect comes from, especially with modern women.
Well, I want to challenge something though, because I do feel like everyone has like their higher ranked love language, but we're all going to say it's a language of love for a reason. And so we're all going to lean into like there's a time and a place for different types of love and displays of love, but like you have to lean into your type of love, because if you're in a relationship, like I know someone where his love language is giving gifts. And so he gives gifts, but that's not her love language. And so it's not that the individual is maybe, you know, unappreciative or anything of the sort. It's that you have to make sure you understand what their love language is, because it's going to help you in the long run. And so I do think that it's important that you, one, understand that love languages are important regardless of where you are on the scale, but two, that you realize in whatever, it's not just intimate relationships, like friendships. I got my best friend, like I have to make sure I know my best friend's love language, because I have to make sure that I'm showing my appreciation and love for her, or my sister, or my mother. And so I think love language is something where we all have some of all of them, because it's a language of love. But we all have that primary, we all speak English in here. That's our language.
You're saying too, like even there's some friends that you say that, like you said, it's more friends that you're willing to help. Like somebody may need a few $100, you more willing to give it to certain people than somebody else, because you love, like okay, hold on, man, last time, you know, just that. So I feel even just in relationships, even like your relationship with your mother and your father, you know, that extends to the relationships, I think, even to relationships with the person that you're involved with too. So I think that, like, that's why I say relationships is just so vast, and just trying to figure out even a relationship that you have with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, how good is your relationship with yourself? Because, like I said, a lot of people don't even love themselves or even have the admiration for themselves. Because they so, especially like he said, with modern times, so many people had to disconnect with social media, and they looking at something else, and they like, oh, her hair is this, or his car is this, or his muscles, and you get so caught up in what somebody else got, and then it start making you not even like yourself, and then you want to start doing these different enhancements and taking these chances to be somebody you're not, because you don't love yourself. So I tell people, you gotta love yourself first before you can love anybody else, you know, and that's always been my key to life. And I wish I would have knew that in the beginning, because I spent myself trying to love so much and wasn't loving myself first. So I'm just vice versa in life now, you know, at this age. So
message: these are the worst things for a relationship. Social media, the cell phone, and it kill it every time.
That's a fact.
That's the worst. That's a killer. That's a murderer. Homicide. If you got a relationship and you more into this than you are in your relationship, you committing murder.
And guess what? That's what, if you got kids too. If you more into this and you got kids, like again, it goes down to all of the. We have to more so enjoy the moment, like. And I feel like the key to relationships is having that human interaction. And most of the time, we want it to be positive, but we have negative human interactions as well. But we've got to interact. And just being on social media limits that interaction. That's so important in relationship building.
It definitely does.
Yeah, like my best friend, y'all. I got the best friend in the world. Shout out to my bestie. But that's my best friend since the 3rd grade. And so when it comes down to like knowing your people, like building relationships matter. And like when we talk about, do y'all believe in soulmates? That's like always the like,
I do.
Okay. So do you believe that there's like one soulmate, or do you believe that your soul can mate with like multiple individuals, and that soul mating isn't just intimate?
I think it's one person for everybody. But I think everybody has the opportunity to attract your soul. Because it's different things that different people are gonna do. Like, you know how men, like say a man likes a multitude of women. He's looking for women for different reasons. This woman may cook better. This woman may clean better. This woman may nurture him better. This woman may support him better. It's hard to get all that in one. So his soul is asking for all these things, so he'd rather have a multitude of women because he can get what he needs when he needs, instead of having to go to one person that's not always able to fulfill it. Same thing with women. I think women do it a little different. Women cheat too.
Yeah, they do.
Just as much as men, but I think women, they definitely.
They slick as hell with it.
They gonna die with they lie. We get caught. So.
Okay. We gonna argue on a later episode. Going to the vault. Okay, I can't even.
You just look in the back of the funeral home and see dudes.
So I'm gonna say this in one term. Don't say nothing. Revenge cheating. So when we come back to later episodes, remind me that revenge cheating is a good, interesting topic within like infidelities. But so
it happens.
Yeah, oh.
It definitely happens. And it doesn't have to be physical.
To me,
It could be conversation. It could be just giving your time to another person. It could just be giving your space to another person. You don't have to be necessarily physical.
Yeah, physical. That's a fact.
Yeah, I had to learn that though.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah.
See, I've been married. He been married. She hasn't touched those waters yet.
Gang.
How was your experience being married?
I mean, like I tell everybody, you know, not even just saying it was wonderful. It just, once the kids got involved, that's really, like I say, that's what changed everything, because my attention wasn't on her no more. Like, that was the thing, she got my attention, you know, so once we had kids, it was like I even tell people, the real talk, when I first had my first baby, shout out to my girl, I remember in the hospital, I was like, damn, this is how I feel to fall in love again. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I never felt how I feel right now. Like, it was a different type of feeling, and I never felt that feeling. And me saying it to my kid's mother, and she felt me, so it's like, even that, it was a disconnect. So it's weird, you know what I mean? Because like, I even tell people, if it came down, if I had to say, you know, the kids and the mother, I gotta say them kids, you know what I mean? I catch you later, you know what I mean?
I just watched something today. The guy said, when he had his son, he was like, you know, I'd die for you. When he had his daughter, he was like, I'd kill for you. And he was like, my wife I won't kill for. That's her father's job. You see what I'm saying? But for my daughter, yeah, I'm gonna put in the work. But for my son, I'm gonna die for you, but I'm gonna kill for my daughter. So I understand exactly how you feel, because I got all daughters. So when you had them daughters, it's a different sensation.
Yeah. And like I say, my daughters, I mean, cut you off, but my relationships with my daughters, I tell people, if I would have had daughters before I got in any relationship, I'd be the perfect dude, because my daughters basically teach me, even at their young age, what a woman wants. Even when they be like, I'm talking about, it was one time my daughter, she right here talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm communicating while she talking. No, my little girl grabbed my face and was like, Daddy, look at me. And I was like, oh shit. Like, even though I'm everything she's saying I'm replying to, but she didn't feel like she had my undivided attention. So it's like, even that I had to learn. So when a woman talking, like, hey, just pinpoint, don't be, you know, sometimes, you know, you do all that. So yeah, it's my little girls, they basically teaching me on like just attentiveness. So it's real. It's
so interesting to leeway to that topic. Do you feel that, of course, like God or the universe doesn't punish us, but do you feel like God sends the men well, not even players, but
God,
like,
you know, God give you what you, I always tell people, you know, God just give you what you had problems with as a male. So if you was a male, you had a problem with dudes, as if you was a bully or you got bullied, he gonna give you a son. Cause like I say, I'm being real. From 2nd grade to 5th grade, I was a bully. I can attest to this. Then even in high school, love all my friends, Junior, Rizzy, all y'all, Vince, y'all watch this. I used to bully them. Like, I used to bully them dudes. Like, and they talk about like, reason I used to do that, because my uncle used to tell me, you chastise people to see if they built, because if we from Chicago in the trenches, so I didn't want to be with no punk. Some shit go down and they running, so I had to build tough relationships even with my friends. And those relationships that I built when I was 13, 14, 15, those are still the same guys I run with to this day. So yeah, it's just, you know, just relationships even on that side with the friends, you know. So I don't know if I just went off.
No, you're good. No, you're good. It makes sense. It all ties it together. You get what you need. Period. And all of it. And so sometimes guys need those little girls so that they can learn to appreciate a woman more. And it's not that, you know, that you did or didn't have something back at home, but it's just showing you that deeper appreciation for whatever it is that was given unto you.
I definitely felt like I was cursed. I was a womanizer, a whoremonger, all of it. And God kept giving me daughters. I didn't learn with my first daughter, and I didn't learn with my second daughter, so he gave me another daughter. And when I held her, because I had never been in a hospital when neither one of my other daughters was born. When I held her, I knew. I'm supposed to be protecting her. I'm supposed to be protecting them. And I can't give them an image of me being womanizer, because with my oldest daughter, she's 25 now,
Right.
and the images that the person I used to be is exactly what she's attracted to. My grandbaby's daddy just took a 20-year sentence. So it's like you attracted to everything that I was, but ever since I've been on this other side of the fence, I've been trying to show you what an example of a good man.
Right.
But
Right.
it's too late.
Right.
It's too late. I gotta wait for you to just catch it. But I got my 15-year-old and my baby. I gotta always give them the example now.
Oh, that's deep.
That's tough.
And those are the relationships. I got different relationships with each one of my daughters based on that. Based on how I used to be, how I am now, and now I got that. I'm more of a protector than a provider.
I was watching some comedy show and it was like FTK, of course, is what he was talking about, earthquake or whatever. But he just talked about, like, you know, your kids get to a point where, you know, at a younger age you're their provider. But as an adult, or as they get older and they get more experiences, I'm not a provider no more. I'm your advisor. So I can advise you on what you need to do and what you should do, but I'm not there to provide you with any of that.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, right. And I just feel like that really just kind of like showed the way that parenthood as a relationship should go. Like, you know, you advise them as they grow older, but as their kids, you're providing for them, and you just really got to give them that direction and hope that they make the right decisions.
Yeah, parenthood, like I said, that relationship tough. Cause like I said, I think about like you know how my mom raised us, and now I'm having 3 kids and trying to raise them and trying to have a relationship with them. It's like just being very just cautious with them, like you know, just having more patience with them, because you know they do things, they little kids, you know. Like the other day, me and Pete was doing some work, and they're wilding out, and I'm in there like Pete looking at me like T.Y., but it's like, man, they need to sit down. But it's like not knowing
their kids be kids.
they're kids. But now, like I tell people, they're kids. Now just imagine if they was 16, 17, 18 years old acting like that, then it's a whole nother story. I felt as a parent, you know. So, I know we kind of went on. So you said regardless to no relationships in grammar school. So what was the longest relationship you've ever been in?
My last relationship, right at 5 years.
5 years. Okay. You?
I was married for 4 years too, though. Before.
Okay, so that's where, are we talking relationship, like
real
commitment or situation?
No, commitment. Yeah.
These niggas ain't loyal. So I would probably say about 9 months.
That's a short relationship.
Yeah.
She ain't got no problem with getting rid of it.
Yeah. It was.
Keep your bag packed.
But the situation lasted a little longer than the relationship. But
That's
you
how
can't
they
force
usually
people.
do, though.
Yeah, but you can't force people to be loyal. And so once you like, you good? Give them some milk because you laughing hard as hell.
And I'm like 9 months. I'm like, shit, motherfucker, his resume did not meet the qualifications. Like that background check came back a little late.
He took a change of clothes out the bag.
Listen, a girl called me. It's so like, at that point, it's like you realize that like, you don't want to be played with. And as a woman, I realized that like being in relationships, if it's toxic, it can really alter your being going into future relationships. And so I will say I've been in a number of situationships, not gonna lie, because if we add them years up, I probably got about a good 5-year joy back in my younger days. But the commitment part matters. And so I realize as a woman, I'm not gonna force, but I am getting into an older space where it's like, okay, it's about that time, you know, I'm about to get my husband. But I don't want to force you to be fake committed. And that's what ends up happening in a lot of younger relationships. It's a fake commit. It looks like you're committed, but at the end of the day, like we're posting, we're taking pictures, we dressed alike, we got matching this, that. But at the end of the day, I just went through your phone and we just got to arguing because X, Y, Z, and you still talking to her.
Okay, good question. So you went to going in the phone?
No.
If you was in a relationship, would you want your man's password?
No. Okay, yeah, I think we will have each other's password, but we won't have each other's password to go through the phone. Like, because I feel like there has to be a certain level of trust. And I feel like when you go looking for something, you're gonna find it. And if you feel like you need to look for something, baby girl, trust your intuition.
And then sometimes that nothing can be, that nothing can be nothing, but it's just enough to send you over.
Yeah.
So
especially when you have your own wild thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of times assuming can be one of the worst things you can do in a relationship.
Imagination.
If you can't communicate with your partner and all you can do is assume what they're doing because y'all don't have that level of communication where y'all back and forth with like a tennis game with each other, back and forth, y'all communicate effectively, bouncing off of each other. If you don't have that, you're going to set up a situation where either one of y'all are going to have to assume what the other person is doing or what the other person is saying.
You're right.
Because everything can get lost in communication when you don't have good communication.
Right.
Definitely.
And that's the thing, like you gotta have the imagination station, like, and I will say, like, sorry, y'all didn't ask to be guys, like, okay, I understand, but y'all don't provide details, and I think that sometimes that works against you all, because y'all aren't thinking of the details, but women are so detail oriented in most cases.
Detailed.
So if you don't say, I'm about to go play basketball with my homies and them from college, and you just about to say, like, I'm playing basketball, and then you end up at a hookah lounge with your homeboys, and they got a homegirl. Like, these are real life situations that have happened, and it's not that he's cheating, it's just that you didn't communicate effectively.
Yeah.
But so I need to tell you everything in my day?
No. She basically saying.
No, I understand what she's saying. If I say I'm doing this, but I end up doing A, B, C, D, and only told you about A, it creates confusion.
Correct.
It definitely
Confusion.
does.
It only creates confusion, I think, if the person that on the other side is confused. Because if we in a relationship and we locked in, it don't matter what my day was like. I came home.
But no, it don't matter about you coming home, because you know what people
That
could
should be
have
the only
done.
thing that matters.
No, but
because
see,
the only way that something is wrong is if you think I did something wrong.
No, unless you have a track record of doing stuff wrong and I don't trust you. And or you don't provide enough details, and you've allowed me my imagination to create this false narrative, which is not healthy, by the way. I'm not saying that it's okay at all. But what I'm saying is that communication, and sometimes the way that there are different styles of communication.
Right.
And so based on how you communicate, like, things can get lost in translation, and because y'all as men don't provide the details, some shit can go down.
Yeah, it just be like I'm reading this book. They ain't finna tell you what page, what paragraph, what.
Don't be that petty. Don't be that petty. You can say I'm reading this book, but the whole time you over her house in her read room.
I'm reading with her.
But you didn't say that. You just said, yeah, baby, I'm reading this book. And it's like, yeah, you're reading the book.
But I don't even want to be in a relationship like that. I don't want to be in a relationship where you feel like you got to keep tabs on me 24/7.
Yeah.
Because I'm a grown man and I expect you to be a grown woman. The only person I have to worry about is people on the outside of us. I ain't got to trust them. I got to trust you. So if I'm going to trust you, your 24 hours through the day without me should be smooth sailing. And you should be waiting to get back to me, and I should be waiting to get to you.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be sitting around assuming you're doing anything. And if you got a track record of doing things, I shouldn't be with you if I got to sit around.
Oh, well, sure. Well, then so many people would be single if that's the case.
That's what
because
should
so
be.
many relationships, you don't realize that toxicity stems from, in most cases, something done
go
happened.
there.
Like, something happened, okay?
Something
Something happened.
happened.
Like, so a lot of times, sorry, I'm loud, my bad.
No.
But some of the times, like, as a woman, I can say we be crazy as hell sometimes. But sometimes, the way that y'all both respond, I'll be so mad when we watch that. Why y'all eyes
I'm going to
that?
hold that face.
Sometimes, okay? But we can't.
85%. It's like getting fed time.
It's 50-50. It's
Getting a wife or a woman is like doing fed time. You're doing 88% of that. And it's all her.
Happy life.
But
that's not true. That's not true. I just think that women forgive men in situations, and sometimes maybe you shouldn't have, because you don't realize that you can't forget under that forgive.
That's true.
And that's where I feel like some of the toxicity, and again, like, we all go through that honeymoon stage, like every situation, relationship we've been in, like, it started out great until something happened. There was a trigger. There was something where that line of communication or that loyalty was broken, and so it makes you look at it a little differently.
See, that's the bad thing about dating now. You gotta really go into it. You could date a person, and from the outside in, like if y'all live at separate addresses and y'all are dating, it could go all smooth. But you also gotta always think, like, what has this person been through before me? Because it's things that a woman, I don't know. I don't think I have any triggers from past relationships. But I keep hearing women say I got triggers.
Because they the one with the pistol.
Triggers.
Because they got the pistol.
Because the man got the pistol.
Because the man got the pistol.
I ain't gonna say that, because like that's a saying that a man can't take what a woman can take, right? In relationships, we can't accept what we dish out.
Correct.
But I think not so true because I think me personally, and this is from a man's perspective, I think we go through more in a relationship than a woman do. If a women only think about the beginning of a relationship. When you meet a woman, the first thing a woman do when she like you, she builds tunnel vision. She builds how the relationship has to go in her mind, mentally. I see this, I see this, I see this, I see this. This is what we got to do to get to marriage. Expectations. Okay. Men don't do that. Men say, okay, I like her, I want to fuck her, I just want some.
That's the expectation right there. The expectation is.
I'm 9 times out of 10, man, ain't too many women making men wait. So you getting that. So your focus is not on 10 years from now, 5 years from now. She's already 10 years down the road, and you just still in the first month of the relationship. You see what I'm saying?
He said the first month, look at the first day.
Yeah, the first day of the relationship. Yeah. But they stick with that tunnel vision, and the man is in that same, he got a different vision for the relationship, and they never on course in the beginning. And so as you moving, you just doing what you have to do, but she got an orchestrated plan to get you to a certain spot. And you can't do nothing but fail because you don't know her plan.
Okay, so how long you don't wait for the pussy? So that means y'all must, so what? So as a woman, so we should make y'all, so if the expectation is that we want to get to 10 years on down the line, okay? But your expectation is let me go some pussy, girl, give me that.
I don't window shop.
What does that mean?
That mean, I need to know if it's worth me, if it can keep me. If I can't get that in the beginning, it's pointless later on because if I don't want to waste my time to get something that I know ain't gonna be no good, that I can't live with for the rest of my life.
Cause you a hoe, you know.
I used to be.
How do I got your toys on?
That was back in the day.
We've all grown. We're all mature. We're speaking of past experience.
You don't want a man that can't please you, right?
No.
Okay.
But let's talk about that in relationships. A lot of women aren't getting pleased.
Vice versa. That's why men are stepping out.
No, men are just greedy.
I agree with that too.
I think men are greedy.
I'm not gonna even lie.
A man in most cases is gonna get his job finished before a lady has finished her job.
What about the good man that's getting stepped out on? Or
those happen.
Let's take the cheating out of it. What about the good man that's doing everything he can for the relationship, but he's getting neglected in the relationship? Like you say, kids.
Yeah.
You got women chasing their careers. You got women taking care of the kids, responsibilities. When they come home, they don't have enough time for you. But you got into this relationship with me too.
Yeah.
And if you got into this relationship with me too, you got to put into me. I can't just keep pouring out of me, and then you constantly need something from me, but you're not putting back. And sex ain't the only thing that you can actually give a man back to appease him.
That's true.
After a man been in a relationship for a long enough time with you, he's looking for loyalty, he's looking for respect, he's looking for a little bit of sex on the regular.
But that's what he got at the forefront.
But when it starts to dwindle when you take it and give it over here, and you like he was saying,
yeah, because you finished inside of me and you put a baby in me. Because that's both our
responsibility. You shouldn't lose nothing for me.
But then let's talk about it.
If I'm not losing something for you.
Ideally, it is both responsibilities, but in most relationships, the guys get the better end of the stick.
Only reason
in most, not all, most, majority. We're not talking about the minority.
Okay, but I'm talking about two people in the same house.
Okay, so we're
sharing the
together.
Responsibility.
Okay, but what is sharing the responsibility?
How does she lose most of his dick? If she's chasing the career, he's chasing the career. Both of y'all gotta find time to take care of the kids.
Okay, because if we breastfeed, guess what? That's my titty I gotta give.
Okay, but that's how God made you. You can't complain about how God made you. God made you to be the nurturer. God made you to be the
but I'm just trying to get,
person for the child.
That's true, but I'm just trying to get a clearer picture of how exhausting kids really are. And as a woman, and it's not to say that the man doesn't love the kids. I know my daddy loved me, but I was in my mom's belly. Like, there's a different level of that nurturing.
Yeah.
And we want to go where we feel nurtured. And so in most cases, it's not fair, period. But in most cases, kids gravitate toward the parents, the mother in most cases.
That's
not
true.
All, in most cases.
That's true.
And so as a woman, if I just get off from work and the kids naturally gravitate toward me, but we both just walked in the house, then I got to probably cook dinner, or maybe you're cooking dinner, but maybe it's just the me time, the self-care. It's as a woman, and I'm not saying that men don't, but as a woman, you just sacrifice so much of the space for the self-care. And that's why I feel like I've been very strategic, because you have to be willing to sacrifice that. And it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. But that shit is a job.
children are a job, a relationship is a job.
A job.
But, and I understand where you're coming from. I definitely understand where you're coming from.
I think, like y'all both were saying, the thing, even with the friendships and relationships, I think just the hardest part, though, honestly, is just the consistency. Like, what could you consistently? Because, like we already said, the other two C's, communication. You know what I mean? The commitment part, but just being just consistent, just. Because, you know, like you say, once the time, that time started to dwindle, we ain't going on many date nights no more. You know, we used to go on every Friday nights. Now we just going out once a month. Yeah. Then it get to the point where, shit, we only going out 3 times a month. And if we do, I mean, once out of 3 months, and then it get to the point like, shit, date night to turn to just keep family night. Now, instead of us going on night, we going to the movies all the time. So, and then, like you say, like I dealt with, like I said, I was in a relationship, so even that intimacy part, like you want to be intimate at a certain part, and I'm like, hey, the kid's still up, and it's like, who cares? But then as we know, the kid's knocking at the door, and you know, so it plays a major part. So it was like in there, me, I'm like, well, let's wait till the kids go to bed, and now we wait the kids go to bed, and now I'm asleep. Hey, I'm sleep now. It's the issue. I'm in the night, you know that. Damn, you made me wait. So it was weird. It was like, you know, just. Well, let's get a room. You had to do stuff like that, like, you know. So it was just trying to even find that time for one another. And then, like I say, my relationship, she worked 12-hour shifts. I own my own business, and she worked from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I worked mornings. So we was playing tag, trying to catch each other. Then the day she was off, she trying to sleep, cause, you know. So it was more like I tell people, it was more like. It really was on our relationship. It was more like a 50-50 thing, because it was like, shit, as much as she needed me to do my part as the father, I needed her to do her much part. Like, just the other day, I took my kids to the dentist, and somebody literally was like, why she couldn't do it? And I'm like, what? And then my next question was like, do your baby daddy? You know, it's like, so it's like people even get confused with that. Like, a lot of people just be like, every time they like, you with your kids, or like, every summer or anytime my kids be with me, people be like, oh, you let her do you like that? And I'm like, well, shit, how many relationships do kids have with their father not around, that don't even want to be around? So, you know, it was even that relationship, trying to hear that coming from my friends, it gave me some type of discernment towards them, looking at them crazy. Like, how could you say that to me about my kid's mother? Like, oh, she's doing you crazy. But then I had to come to find out it wasn't reciprocated on their end, so it looked crazy on my end. So, them relationships, so it just try to keep all relationships, and from kids to, you know, from my ex to mother, father, you know, sister. It's hard, because, you know, calling people, because it get to the point, I know you be like, damn, you ain't gonna call, like, I ain't finna call you, mother. Don't be calling me all the time. Like, I'm always be the one calling somebody, and even on that, you get a little funky with that. So, like, I'm the guy, like, if they birthday, I know they birthdays, I ain't hitting y'all on Facebook, I ain't hitting y'all on Instagram, I'm calling you. And that's the type of relationship I have with that person. Now, if it's somebody I don't know, like she posts her kid, happy birthday, I don't know her son, I'm just gonna put happy birthday, look, happy birthday, kid, because I, you know, but just trying to just make relationships just stand the test of times, you know. So.
Well, just a quick question, did you all grow up like in a 2-parent household, or what was like your upbringing with that regard?
It was just single-parent household.
Single-parent household with your mom?
Me, my mom, my sister.
Okay.
It alternated.
Okay.
My mother had a boyfriend for a long time. Then she did. Then she did again. But I grew up, like, my family dynamic, it was none of that, I love you. Nobody ever said I love you. We didn't give hugs. We didn't support each other. We didn't back each other, but we loved each other. It was a tough love situation. Everybody was tough love. We grew up right on the outside, right there by Ida B. Wells Project. So it was always, everybody grew up tough. My mother grew up tough, her sisters grew up tough, my grandmother grew up tough. So it was always tough love. Either you're gonna be tough, you're gonna have to have a tough skin and to be a part of my family. And that's just how it was. So I didn't really understand love. I don't think I felt real love. I got married and wasn't in love.
That's deep.
I was married for 4 years and wasn't in love. It was just a serious infatuation. My first real love happened in 2017. I was 40 years old when I really understood what it takes to love a woman. And what it takes to feel love back from a woman.
Damn. They got nigga a deep thought.
That had me just thinking, you just said it right there, like, shit, bro, like, that's real though, you know, like, once again, like he said, it's his environment, you know what I mean? Like he said, Ida B. Wells, if you're not familiar with that Chicago, that shit tough. You know what I mean? And, you know, so him saying what he said, well, his grandma not extending it down to his mother, his mother not extending it down to him. So him trying to take that, trying to learn what love is, he probably was like, shit, love is just somebody probably just being around, not knowing that it wasn't true love. Just, you know what I mean? Because you tend to think somebody around all the time, they love you, but it's just shit, like I say, that convenience. So, you know,
and it really just highlights like the impact of your environment. Like, because I didn't grow up around a lot of family, but I grew up around a lot of friends, and we were always like, we always spent that quality time together. And so like, that's something that I've grown to value, like that quality time. Like you can do a lot of stuff together, but like, can you truly enjoy being in a space with an individual? And it's like, I remember back in the days, like it's our group, we literally walking from like University Court to the other part of South, like we walking to 100 Oaks, like just building that time and building that relationship.
Long walk.
Yeah.
What mall y'all walk to from UC?
100 Oaks, baby. That was the old Nashville. Again, showing my age, but like but that was like a thing. Like we walked, we rode bikes, we like skated, we went to the basketball court, we like interacted and spent time with one another, and I feel like I learned like the value of family from being really close to friends.
That's what's up. Yeah. And I think I learned the same way. I learned through gangbanging, because in the process of gangbanging and being in prison so much, and growing up in a gang community, I learned love. I think that's how a lot of men are displacing what love is, because we get it from our friends and we get it from our homeboys in a different way. We get it from our women, and when we young, we hanging with our homeboys more than we hanging with women. We may flirt with women or get with some group of women, but back when we young, it's about trying to get what we can get and get on out the way. We might be sharing the woman. I don't know.
Crazy thing you said about that. I've been having this conversation with certain people about that whole dynamic. Guys can literally kick it with guys without having plans. It seems like whenever women kick it have to be scheduled. It's like they can't just pop up over the house. Like P can just pop over my house and he can sit there, we chill. I'm still do what I do, he can do what he do, and we just chilling. It ain't like, man, we finna watch this game. P he invite me over his house to watch the game, and I probably won't even be watching the game. I'll be too busy talking his ear off. He like, dude, I'm watching the game. But I think that's one thing I do see, because my ex actually told me one time, she's like, you're more loyal to your friends than me. And I looked at her like,
you know how many times I've heard that in my relationship?
And I was like, and I just looked at her, I was like, well, I've known them since I was 12, 13
That's
years
what they
old.
don't get.
And it's like, but then she was like it came down to something about a lie. And it was like a very minute lie. She's like, you'll never lie to them. I was like, but there's nothing to lie to them about. I was like, with you, I was like, you trip about the
I lie not to hurt your feelings.
But,
you take it
but it's about the very smallest things. Like I say, it happened when I used to work at this. I used to work at this factory. And you know how it is. You go to lunch with people or whatever. But I used to always go to lunch with this dude and his girlfriend. But she wouldn't believe me. Like, I saw you getting that car with that girl. I was like, but was I in the backseat? Yeah, but that's her boyfriend. Even when she asked dude, he telling her, she's like, you got to do with the life. So, you know, it's like stuff like that. And like, so like she said earlier that you give somebody an indication that you're a cheater. See, I never gave my kid's mother an indication. It was everybody around her. Like, she had a cousin that worked for Comcast. He used to talk to her all the time. I'm busting these men. So I had a job for Comcast. So I'm doing the same thing. She used to watch Hip Hop and Love. I used to go to the studio with these dudes. She on some, it's bitches in the studio. I'm like, I got the video camera on. Like, hey, you want to see? I would see one girl. It's drama. Like, that's TV. Like, when you try to get on, you ain't got time for no girls. Now, when you get the bread, bring them in here. But until you know, so it's like she had a lot of insecurities. And I remember my first boss in Tennessee used to always tell me that, man, he's like, try to avoid dating insecure women because they will make you insecure. And I was like, I didn't know, and I didn't understand what he was saying at that time. I really didn't understand what he was saying. But as I got older and saw the insecurities of my kid mother, I was like, damn, it kind of affected me in a way. So, just trying, like I was telling her and telling him, just getting back out here, just mingling with people and shit like that, it feel a little weird because it's like shit. I'm 40, shit. I'm gonna be 42. It's like shit. I'm doing some shit I'm supposed to be doing. I was a teenager, so I'm trying to holler. What's your name? What's your number? You know, what's your zodiac sign? Doing that whole routine again.
But I think it's so many people not to say that you ever do things out of order, but I do think that certain people put emphasis on that intimate relationship earlier on when they should have potentially been, you know, spreading that interest over the course of not just intimacy, but like maybe focused on business, whatever the case may be. And I feel like that's where a lot of it it can go left because you spent so much of those important, because you spent those important years where you were supposed to be learning yourself and that's why I'm okay saying that like I'm not the lady that's always in a relationship, because fuck all of that. Because you really have to learn yourself, and sometimes being in a relationship, you can get lost. And if you're not in a healthy friendship, you can get lost. And if you're not in a healthy, like, I don't even know, parenthood, I don't even know what that dynamic is called, but if the parenthood is not positive, it could really go left. And so it's really like with all of these relationships, it's really important that there are positive relationships, because some people have toxic parents.
And I think a lot of parents mess up with that too when they tell their kids, I'm not your friend. My kid's mother, we used to argue about that with our oldest. She's 29, but she was 16. She's like, you're not her friend. I was telling you, I have to be her friend. And she never understood that, because it's like, even though her parent, we have to still have that friendship. She can only respect me as her father, but when it comes to making those little decisions, like I tell people, our friendship was so well, so when she broke up virginity, me and her had a whole talk prior to, instead of after. So, you know, and that was the relationship me and her had. And it was like just building it up, because I really, like with my kids, I really, like I tell people, I treat my son like he's my brother. You know, I mean, I treat my little girls like they my sisters. You know, my little girls, I really, you know, have fun with them and try to just build that friendship with them.
That opened that level of communication up and that trust from them where they gonna come to you.
Yeah,
that's always a good thing. I'm 100% with you. I think you need to. It's a fine line, friendship, parent, for everything with your children,
right?
Because they smart enough to know when they overstepping their boundaries and they gonna push the limits, and then sometimes they don't know when they pushing the limits. But you gotta be able to. That friendship level with your kids is gonna open the door for them to come to you before they make that bad decision.
Yeah, you can have that open relationship. It's important. And it's funny because back in the days, like that was like the infamous line. I ain't one of your little friends, but nowadays I do feel like there's more emphasis on like that open communication, and I think it's so healthy to some regards.
I see like the other day I went to a little rap show. But I saw a bunch of girls, mothers, they're supporting them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn,
that's
this
dope.
is what it looked like. You know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, the basketball games, your parent being at your basketball games supporting you, and it's like, even though this rap, you know, because even though the little girl was talking, she was talking that filthy shit, but just seeing her mother was there supporting her, it was like, okay, she could probably go way much further with her mom support instead of her mama telling her, I don't want you doing that.
Yeah.
Stop, I don't like that coming out your mouth, and then her daughter having that resentment now, and it make her edge on to do more. So,
Or having that like rebellion where if you don't want me to do it, I'm gonna do it, you just not gonna know. You know, and I think that having that communication in any type of relationship is important, because you've got to be on one accord. Like, and it's funny because like you can go on trips like girls, because that's why girls gotta have an itinerary. So I forgot that you wanted to say that, because here's why. Because for one, I'm still mad that you said that. But y'all just, again, the details. Y'all don't pay attention to the details. So like y'all are just ooh, 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 ooh. But we do pay attention to the details. So we want it to be strategically spent. And so like, I got a couple of homegirls like, yeah, you could call and just pull up. But like out of respect, like, we don't want to necessarily do that. Like, it is not to say that you can't, but it's just out of respect. And so when you go on trips, how many, well, y'all may not know, but so many females have gone on trips and like it hasn't gone well because you got to have that itinerary. And then somebody's doing too much, taking too long, like we don't know, you can't get in. It's just, it has to be organized. And so I believe in order.
So do you believe in roles in relationships?
Oh yeah, I believe that everyone has their strengths in any type of relationship. Like everyone has something that they naturally do well.
Well, I'm weak, you strong, where you strong.
Yeah, like the yin and yang.
Like
yeah, absolutely.
Your weakest link is your strongest link, man.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, going back to, I know earlier when I said if y'all believed in soulmates, like my stance on is I believe in soulmates, but I don't believe that there's like this one soulmate that's gonna like this is your one and only. Like, I don't believe
Sweep
in
you
like
off your
that type of deal. And yeah, maybe it'll sweep you off your feet, but not that it's this one and only person that was designed and created specifically for you. I think that like you can have, your soul can mate with multiple types of people. And like my best friend, like no homo, to, you know, to each his own, whatever, but no homo on my end. That's my soulmate. And why? Because we can literally sit in the same space together and do nothing and enjoy it. Like, you just can enjoy that time
That's
together.
what I was gonna say earlier, but he was too busy talking about it. I was gonna say that's how I feel about my best friend. Like literally, like I feel as though like what you were saying. So I was laughing so hard, like I was like, damn, my soulmate ain't even with a woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I ain't never.
I'm just being.
I ain't never looked at it from that perspective.
Because even the relationship, like, it's like shit. Even though where he at, I'm where I'm at. But whenever we get around,
Yeah.
it's like it's inseparable. You know
No
what I
matter
mean?
what you doing.
Yeah.
Man, it's
Yeah.
like, man, and it's
Yeah.
like shit. He's like shit. If I come home, he'd take off. Hey, my homeboy in town.
Yeah.
Same, yeah, hey, man, mom, you know. But it's how it always been. But like I said, that was one of the guys I used to bully. You know what I mean? but like right now, like it's like our relationship is just super strong, you know. But
I'm not gonna say my best friend used to be a bully. That's alright. You know you used to be a bully. And we always had a good relationship. So she never bullied me, but I've saved her from bullying other people, and that could have been. Don't do it, best friend. Don't do it. Leave her alone. I know she's like a bulldog. Leave her alone, girl. Go down the truth lounge. So you gotta be ready. The truth can hurt, but it also can set you free.
Truth loud.
The truth, yeah, truth lounge.